Today we're going to discuss other firms. Now, you likely know by looking over our information, potentially seeing me on social media, that we specialize in e-commerce, which means that our tax team and our bookkeeping team specifically work on e-commerce clients, so we know everything that needs to be known about e-commerce. And the reason why this is extremely important when you compare it to other services is there's very specialized knowledge that you need to have within the e-commerce industry to make sure that your tax returns are done properly. And I kind of put a few examples here of where we've seen people go. They'll go to potentially TurboTax and they'll use their live function, or maybe they'll go to H&R Block, talk to a local person there, or even they'll just do a search for a CPA near me where they've looked in for any local CPAs. This could be a person that's down the street. Maybe it's your grandfather that was recommended from your eighth brother down the road. It could have been any recommended. Maybe you even used a CPA in the past. And that's kind of what this video is for, is to kind of discuss what we've seen in the past when clients have worked with these other people as opposed to working with us. Now, keep in mind that e-commerce is a very specialized industry. There are a lot of people that do not understand e-commerce whatsoever. And the reason why you can know this is if you start asking your potential accountant what exactly they know about e-commerce. A couple of questions you can ask would be, how many other e-commerce clients do you have? Tell me about, let me tell you about my business and tell me what you think of it. Especially if you're in arbitrage, a lot of times they'll say, is that legal? Can you even just grab stuff from Walmart and sell on Amazon? You'll get that sort of like blank stare. You can ask them, have you had any sellers, any people that you know that have sold on Amazon before? And if they're saying, yeah, you're my first one, or yeah, maybe like one guy or two guys, these are all scenarios where you potentially run into a problem where they don't have the requisite knowledge to make sure that you get your taxes done properly. I'll give you a story of a few clients, and keep in mind, we've had a lot of clients over the last year that reached out to us after the fact thinking that they overpay on their taxes, or we worked on their books and we realized that something was done properly, so we were able to look back to their tax returns and see what happened. And mind you, a lot of these people are very, very good accountants. They understand the tax code. What they don't understand is e-commerce. So what happens is that they get that 1099 from Amazon. They're looking at that and they don't understand any of the numbers that are on there. They also may not actually even ask you to log into Amazon to download any reports. They might not ask you, all right, what sort of software are you using for inventory basis? Are you using a spreadsheet? Are you using Inventory Lab? Are you using Seller Board? Or are you using some sort of other tool like Shopify or other inventory platforms? There's a ton of them out there. And if they don't understand any of that, they won't even ask for it. They won't ask for any of this stuff because they won't understand it. Basically, they're just going to ask you to give them all of the stuff that you think that they need to figure out how to do it. We do it the opposite way. We know exactly what you need, so we're going to ask you for access to the various things that we would need to ensure that your taxes are done properly. A few examples of things that we saw just over this last year. We had one client that came into us and he said, I think I may have overpaid on taxes. And so we're like, okay. So we looked it over and they realized that they absolutely did overpay, and they overpaid by about $13,000. And it was because there's a specific deduction that the accountant that they used had no clue needed to actually be done based on the reporting that Amazon gives. And that's just one example, and I have multiple examples we've used from other accountants and other CPAs that specifically have ended up overpaying on taxes just because of the fact they don't fully understand how to actually read the various reports, they don't understand how to actually pull everything, and they also don't understand exactly like how cost of goods sold works. And that by far is probably the biggest piece that is a challenge for even like when we're training new people. That keep in mind, we have a pretty big tax operation where we have 40 plus locations that are retail offices that are in a separate company that I own. And we tend to utilize our best people from that business to help us with e-com returns. And the number one piece that we always have to train on, and it takes a while for them to learn, is the cost of goods sold piece. Even someone who is extremely good with accounting and extremely good at CPA, they have master's degrees. They don't understand cost of goods sold. They just don't understand their industry. They also do not understand the difference between cash and accrual method and how that impacts your business. And so that's kind of like a lot of the various things I would say that if you're looking to go to someone other than an e-com specific accountant, those are the problems you typically will run into with those people. Yes, they may be cheaper, but the reality is if you're paying more in taxes, is it really cheaper? Not to mention you look at it from a perspective of if you were to get audited, would they be able to help you out collecting the information or be able to present anything if you were to get a letter from the IRS or anything else like that if they don't understand your business at all? And in our case, I was in the industry for 15 years. I literally sold for 15 years. And so I understand what all the reports look like. I understand everything that's involved with an e-commerce business. All of my team has been trained on this stuff. So they understand what to look for. They understand exactly how it impacts the tax returns. Not to mention, we've done hundreds of tax returns that are specifically to e-commerce. So we've seen a lot of situations where we know exactly what to look for. We know what reports to grab. We basically know everything. So we're the ones that they're the experts to know what to look for versus the CPAs expecting you to be the expert to tell them what they need to be able to do the taxes, which is the opposite way that you should be handling it, especially when you're looking for an expert to actually do your taxes. You want someone that actually knows what they're doing. So that's why I can strongly recommend using us for taxes this tax season, as we would love to make sure that your taxes are done properly, make sure you're paying the correct amount, and then moving forward, we become a great partner with you to make sure that moving forward, you are good to go on all of your taxes. And obviously your bookkeeping needs as well when you get to that size, or maybe you already are at that size where you need bookkeeping. We can also help you out with that. All right, if you have any further questions regarding this, feel free to let us know. Thanks again. Appreciate it.